What's up everybody? Next day here, and I did get the 12,000 pound shocks out of order. They came in the mail, and it's a set of 4 of them. All right, so I got the one side up. I did have to go buy a socket for this. It's the 1.5 inch drive. This is a 3/4 drive, but 1.5 inch socket. I didn't have one, couldn't believe it, but that's what it takes. I've got 1.25 all day long, but not 1.5. So I just went to Harbor Freight and got that. And one thing you want to do when you do the shocks on the Humvee, you want to do one side at a time. Just do one corner at a time. It's the safest way to do it because you're going to need the counter pressure of the other tires on the ground to be able to compress the spring back into its housing. And it's kind of crazy with the Humvees that the shock actually holds everything together. There's a huge bolt up here that runs to the top of the shock tower. I mean, it's that bolt. And basically, if you're, this can be really, really sketchy, guys. I'm just telling you, it could be. Changing the shocks is gonna be a lot easier than what I'm gonna do to the front. So I gotta put the spacer on the front. Because I've gotta lift it for a little surprise that's coming on these things. So it's gonna be pretty awesome. I haven't done this size tire yet. I've always done 37s on my other Humvees, so we'll see how it turns out. But it's still not here. It's just so frustrating waiting on stuff. I've got some really, really awesome stuff on the way. You guys will really like it. I hope, at least. Hey, what's up, everybody? Got it. It's kind of a pain, man. This support that runs across there, it's just in the way just enough. I was actually afraid I was going to strip this nut. That would have been horrible. But I broke it loose, got it loose. It's out. Do the bottom nuts. We're gonna get the shock out, and I'll show you what we do from there. Is you just jack it up just enough to release tension up here on the shock tower, the upper bolt on the shock tower. And when that happens, yeah, go ahead, Maddox, you can pull that bolt out, dude. Pull all the way out like a man with ease. So once that's out, it's literally done. All you gotta do is undo these bottoms. Let's just go ahead and undo those and get this shock out. Old shock is out. So one of the most important things is, Maddox, bring it over here. We got to keep that angle. Set it on the cardboard. All right, hey, go get a Sharpie. So we need to outline this. That way when I break this nut off, I know what angle it is. Otherwise, it's impossible to tighten this once it's up inside the vehicle. So you just need to make sure you get the angle as close as you can. That way when I tighten it down here, it'll be right. Okay, can you trace it? You don't have to be here. I'll show you. Here. All right, guys. So this is the only way I know how to do this. I'll put the bottom in a vise, and I've got to use, I can't get it off with even the breaker bar. So I'm going to use my 5-foot pipe here, 5-foot steel pipe as my cheater bar. I had to use this to break the other one too. Here we go, it's nothing. Give me some counter pressure, kids. Oh gosh, it's turning the whole thing. All right. Jeez. You can? Come on. All right, this is ridiculous. Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Here's my spacers for the front lift. Front shocks, rear shocks. Or, I mean, they're all the same. So it really doesn't matter which ones I use. But these things are nice. 12,000 pound shocks. Man, they're going to look so much better than these. And perform better. I mean, I don't know how old these other ones are. And I'm not sure if they're 10,000 pound shocks that were on here or 12,000 pound shocks. Maybe one of you guys would know on the channel. But I do think that this could be a 12,000 pound shock since the vehicle is an 03. But I know a lot of guys said the older, like the N998s, anything from the 80s or 90s. I'm guessing here that it's probably a 10,000 pound shock that you have on there. So you can always upgrade for these. These are $100, dude. Ship all 4 of them. No, I take that back. Shipping was like $26. So it was $126 out the door. And I use a company. I'll send the link down in the bottom in the description. I think it was Damage Control. They're in Georgia. They're awesome. I mean, this thing was at my house in like 3 days from the moment I ordered it. And I ordered it late, so it was really like 2 days. So we're going to put these things on. It's going to be awesome. Okay. Got the old one off. It was a bear. That was crazy. I had to use pry bars. My daughter was pulling them with a pry bar. I'm pushing on with that 5-foot pipe, and it finally came loose. So here we go. Here's the new one. I'm just going to give it a beat of Loctite. Go ahead and put it down here. Flip it over. I got my angle and tighten it down. All right. Got the other one torqued down the specs, which is stupid tight. And time to reinstall it. Time to get the lower nuts or bolts. Stupid tight. Alright guys, I'm using a breaker bar, and what I'm going to be doing is just pushing the top of the shock into the hole, and now I've got to jack up the base till this comes up with the hole here. And I've heard that this could be really a pain. I've seen some dudes be putting like 400 pounds of sand on the top because eventually you'll start jacking up the whole truck, but let's see how it goes. Time to get it stupid tight. Alright, this side's done. Okay guys, I'm going to time to bust loose the upper shock tower bolt. Let's get to it. Got it loose. Alright, Ava's going to jack up the jack until this comes, till there's no pressure on this bolt right here. Start jacking. Hang on. That's how it's done.
Passenger rear.
Alright, I'm just removing the shock, these lower bolts. And it's out. We've already got the top out. I got the passenger rear out. Look how nasty these things are. Okay, I'm going to put it on the cardboard, get my angle. Actually, let's see if it's the same angle as the other side. It might be. Yes, it is. Okay, I can use this angle still for the back. All right, finally got this one up there. Man, I think it was just really tight in there. Eventually I had to get the screwdriver in there and just kind of pry the shock up a little bit. All right. Woo! Get some Loctite. And go ahead and finish putting this nut on.
Okay.
All right, so I got the rear shocks on. Time to do the fronts. Dude, this is pain. It's pain. Just getting these tires off, it's unreal. I don't know what's on these lug nuts, but it's nuts. But there's my spacer. Where? Right there. And the new shock for this side. This thing's gotta get lifted 2 inches. No better time than now. All right, so on the front, we're gonna start out doing kind of the same what we did before. I'm gonna go ahead and release the tension on the upper shock mount on the tower, the bolt up here, whatever. I'm getting tired. I'm gonna go ahead and go ahead and bust this nut loose, release the tension on it, go ahead and slide that out. Still leave it jacked up, and then we have to unbolt the lower ball joint right down here. There's 4 bolts that hold it on, and then I'm gonna have to put a ratchet strap or something that's gonna basically hold the hub out. And I'm probably just gonna, I don't even know, raise the hood and bolt it, I think, to the air straps on top of the motor, the two big handles. I think I'll just take the ratchet strap, run it up there to hold this hub out of the way, and that will allow the lower control arm to drop all the way down, releasing all the tension on the spring. This is where you need life insurance. It may get a little crazy, but I'm not gonna unbolt the spring or the shock on the bottom until all the tension's off this spring, because that way, as long as if this bolts out and the spring does shoot off for some reason, by having this shock still installed and still bolted in, it's going to catch that spring from shooting out. It's just, the shock will actually catch it. That's my plan. So that's what I'm using. So there's a guy, I'm going to get his link. He has an awesome YouTube video on lifting the Humvees and putting the spacers in. Much more in depth than what I'm going to be doing on this, because I've got to move. I got a lot of I actually got something amazing coming tomorrow. So that'll be in the next video. We'll be installing those. So without further ado, let's continue on. Let's actually lift this thing a little bit. Get my favorite tool of the day. Freaking 5-foot steel pipe. And I'm not going to have enough clearance. Hang on. Gotta pop the hood. Sauce! Look at that. Like a man. She's gonna slowly jack up the truck. Right there. Well, too much. We found the point. All right.
Come down a little bit.
Okay. I just lowered it down a little bit, so jack it up until I'm very, very slow. Keep going. Right there. All right. Okay, I'm on the last bolt of the hubs on the ball joint, so that way I can maneuver it out. So I'm still tracking this. These are actually really difficult to get out. All right, now the ball joint is away. So let's do this. Just for right now, so I can get this ratchet strap. Whew. Alright guys, so what I'm doing is releasing the axle so I can pull the hub away from it. I'm sitting here trying to pull on it, I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, oh, duh. Alright, so you just pull off the cap and behind it, it's just a 15 millimeter bolt. So now that that's out of the way, that'll be a little cool. Okay. Alright, I'm just loosening the lower shock bolts. I'm going to go ahead and take off this sway bar. That's preventing it from dropping even more. But I got to go jack it back up because I don't want to release this and all of a sudden it's just going to go boom. Alright guys, moment of truth. Life insurance policy is good. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. Woo! I heard it. Hang on. Nice and slow. That's it. I see the gap in the spring now. So, I see a gap. Yeah! Woo! It is free. It is free. It is free. Free, free, free. Free, free. Free, free, free. Man, that sway bar had some serious tension on it still. You know what? I wish I had new bushings. Oh well. Might do that in another date and time. So I mean, those sway bar bushings, they get out pretty bad. Let's lift this sucker. Alright guys, so I got the spring loose. It's done. I ended up having to take a big ratchet strap under here. If you look down here, I put it around the lower control arm, and I had to basically strap it to one of the air hooks that was under here on the other side and just ratchet the crap out of it. And it finally gave me some slack. So let's jump on we're gonna put the new shock on. We'll go ahead and get that all squared away and then we'll put the spacer on. Wow, they're pretty much the same angle. Awesome. All right, let's put this thing in the vise and break it free. So we broke it loose. Ava helped me over here to hold it, and I ended up putting another ratchet strap to the workbench on that side. And had to use the 5-foot pipe again. Dude, these things are on there like nothing I've ever seen. So you always have to rig up something to make it work. So we got it though. Turn the radio off. Or just turn it down. All right, guys. So spring's out, spacer's going on. Putting this all back together is going to be the extremely tricky to putting everything back together. So here's the spacer. Man, this thing's really nice. Seems like a solid piece of steel. I got it on eBay. I'll leave the description below. It's kind of slow shipping though. It took like 10 days to get here. And I think they came from New York. But let's see how they fit. I haven't even tested these things. I mean, I'm gonna drop some weight on that bolt. That's a lot of weight. And it's still moving like crazy. Let's do this. All right, everybody, I'm going to show you the kind of the view of it. On one side of the front is not lifted and the other side is. You can clearly see that it's lifted. Let me show you. That's kind of a bad angle, but you can see right there at the top, look at the, like where the garage door is, you can see the slope. And it is definitely, it looks like it's giving me a good, I would say, 1.5 to 2 inches. It hasn't really settled much, but it definitely looks even. And I can't even back up enough to even show you guys this. Let's see. So there's definitely a little bit more of a gap in the wheel well. The back's always high. It actually looks level. It's nice. It's just like, it's like the GM slant. That's what I call it. Every freaking GM vehicle made has a slant. And you can kind of tell here. Look how low this side is, the driver's side. So it's got new shocks on 3 sides all the way around. And now I'll do the driver's side. You can kind of see it jacked up a little bit more right here. And that's all I need for what I'm going to put under it. Okay, last side, driver's side, front. Put the spacer in, finish this thing. I'm beat, dude. It's definitely taking me all day. It's not really too fun, but it's gonna look great. And it's gonna be way worth it. So let me go get my favorite tool of the day, the 5-foot steel pipe. Just gonna jack it up enough to where it takes it. Look at that, first time. Wow, nothing. Oh, hey man. Okay. Sweet. All right, time to remove the lower ball joint bolts. All right, guys, I got the lower ball joint bolts out. It's free. See that? Now I'm gonna ratchet strap it up and put it to the air hook. Okay, here's a better look of it busted free. All right, it's time. I'm gonna drop down the lower control arm. Spring's gotta come out. Shock number 4. Look at this thing, man. Pretty dirty. All right, last one. I'm getting pumped up. It's almost the end of this. Shock installed. All right, let's put the spacer on. Time to release the ratchet strap.
Am I gonna die?
No, just make sure it's sitting up in there.
Can I let go?
Nope.
I mean,
I just need to see it. All right, go ahead, let go. Stand. All right. So you have to end up cranking the ratchet strap a little more once the spring is out. This will actually the little control arm will actually go down a little bit farther. So with that being said, that is seated. That is seated. You need to make sure you get your gap down here for the spring. Do not put it all the way up to it. The manual even says has a small gap there. I'm just going to use about a finger width, and that will be that. I think that's it right there. This is the scariest part of the whole deal. Boom! It's seated. Okay, so got that bolt started for the top. I mean, we're in business now. Go ahead and lower the hub down. All right, guys, get my favorite tool here. All right, hub bolts. Where are they all at? Oh my gosh. I am so close. It's gonna be freaking awesome.